hear no gunshots, but they getting low, 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 low.
YouTube, what is going on, everybody? It's Eavesdrop, and today what I got for you is two things. I got one is 100+ gameplay with the Pharaoh with the weirdest class setup you've seen. I got the Pharaoh with a recon sight, long barrel, and quick draw. Long barrel and quick draw is not too weird, but the recon sight's a little off. But the second thing I have for you is the patch notes from the most recent update from February 1st, the Awakening DLC update, basically. And I'm going to go over everything that they've changed within Black Ops 3, minus what I would deem hotfix updates, which is just things where it's fixing bugs, it's fixing like small glitches and exploits and stuff like that. Besides one big exploit slash glitch that we all know of that they did fix, which I will be talking about. But I'm going to start with the guns, which is what most people want to hear about, and then I'm going to go down through the specialists and the kill streaks, and then we're going to wrap around to the more boring stuff about the game modes. First is the submachine guns, because those are the first guns that are shown. The general is reduced sprint outspeed of what seems to be all submachine guns. So all submachine guns are going to have a reduced sprint outspeed, so you're going to be able to aim in faster after sprinting with all submachine guns. Second, the VMP, there was a fixed issue where a player would occasionally not show on the radar when firing with the VMP when you'd have on overkill. You wouldn't show up on the radar when you would fire, which is a weird bug, and it was banned in game battles and stuff like that. So that is now fixed. Second, we move on to the assault rifles. The XR2 has increased ADS aim stability as well as increased recoil controls. So two aim mechanic fixes to the XR2, which is going to help you aim better. The increased ADS aim stability is going to make it, I assume, so the reticle doesn't move around as much when you're aimed in, and increased recoil control is going to allow you to be able to pull down on the stick easier and control the recoil without it going all over the place. Secondly, on the ICR and the Shiva both have increased ADS aim stability, which is just what the XR2 has, which what I can infer can only be that the reticle is more stable when you're zoomed in, so you're not going to have as much aim sway. The shotguns, which I would totally disagree with this, but this is up to your own opinion. The Argus has increased lethal damage range, and the KRM 262 has increased lethal damage range. So both of the shotguns that I already thought were extremely overpowered have increased lethal damage range, so you can now kill even farther, which I thought it was already a pretty far distance for them, and I thought that if anything they needed to get nerfed, but I guess not. They decided they needed a buff. Second thing that I kind of disagree with, but it's up to your opinion, is the light machine guns. All LMGs have increased ADS aim stability, so I already thought that the LMGs were super overpowered in this game, especially the 48 Dredge is banned in game battles, so it's kind of obvious that that one's overpowered, but they all got a increased ADS aim stability, which means less movement of the reticle when aimed down sight. And lastly, for the last gun, sniper rifles, the Locust also got increased ADS aim stability. So across the board, there's a ton of guns that got increased ADS aim stability, but the Locust will have less sway when you're aiming down the sight. For the special weapons, the Brass Knuckles added a spark effect to the Brass Knuckles taunt. I don't have the Brass Knuckles, so I don't know exactly what this does, but I would assume when you hit them together, they make a spark. That's what I can infer, and that's what I assume it is. For attachments, which would also be going with guns, the FMJ no longer deals increased damage to the robot in Safeguard, and no longer ignores the armor provided to the satellite drone in Uplink. I guess that was kind of a glitch before. I don't think they were ever meant to do that. Maybe they were and they took this out, but it no longer deals increased damage to the robot in Safeguard, and it no longer ignores the armor provided to the satellite drone carriers in Uplink, so FMJ will not give you an advantage in Uplink like it apparently did before. And lastly, there's one perk, and the awareness perk, reduced audible range bonus. So what that sounds like to me is that you get a less of a bonus with the awareness perk, so it's going to be harder to hear people than it was before with the awareness perk, as you won't be able to hear them as far away as it says reduced audible range. Next, we're going to move on to the score streaks. The Cerberus got 6 buffs. 6 buffs on the Cerberus. So if you use the Cerberus, be happy. The Cerberus got increased health of dropship, increased AI targeting speed, increased AI accuracy, increased AI damage, increased missile accuracy, and increased missile projectile speed. Pretty much everything they could have buffed on the Cerberus, they definitely did. They went full throttle on the Cerberus, and I think that's going to make the Cerberus even better of a kill streak than it was before, especially at 900 score versus the other score streaks that are often used above that, and it should improve it quite a bit. The Hailstorm got 3 buffs, increased damage radius, increased projectile speed of bomblets, And then thirdly, it has increased targeting radius. So it sounds like once you spread the missile, it's going to go, the bomblets are going to go even faster. The damage radius is going to be even bigger. Under the mothership has increased health. That's all it says. It doesn't say whether it can take like a complete extra rocket or what it can take, but it says increased health. That's all it says. Raps deploy ship, same thing, increased health. Doesn't say whether it can take 5 extra bullets, 1 extra bullet, or 9 extra rockets. Just says increased health. Rolling Thunder. Fixed issue where Rolling Thunder drone pushed through Geo, inflicting damage players inside buildings. So it sounds like your Rolling Thunder will not be able to pummel through buildings anymore. It's actually only going to hit outside of buildings like it should have before and like it was meant to do from the beginning. The GI unit has 3 buffs. Increased GI unit dropship players by 2s. It now eats 2 more rockets, I would assume. Increased health of dropship. Doesn't say how much health, it just says increased health. Increased the duration to 90 seconds, so the GI unit's now going to last 90 seconds on the ground. And I think that's a pretty big buff because that thing runs around and it absolutely murders people. So if you use the GI unit a lot, you're going to be pretty happy with that one. The hater corrected issue where the hater no longer displayed enemies after the owner died. I don't really know what mode that was in, but now the hater is going to work even after you die like it should have from the beginning. I'm going to be skipping over the maps because all the updates to the maps are basically just little glitches and spots where people would hide out and things that messed up the game and where people weren't supposed to be able to getting on top of rooftops and outside the map and stuff like that. Arena, this is a big change to Arena. There's a new playlist in Arena, and Popular will replace Mosh Pit in the next season. Popular features 6x6 on a mix of Domination and Kill Confirmed game modes. That's a quote from the patch notes. And then it says Domination and Kill Confirmed were added to the Arena leaderboards, which is obviously the Popular playlist. Arena default custom classes no longer contain banned items. That's good because if you don't have a class set for some reason, you can just pick a default class and you will be able to use a full 10 set. You won't have to not be able to throw your tactical or whatever. And another big change to Arena was they have removed the map voting stage from Arena, so you will no longer be able to pick. Normally there would be 2 different maps, and a lot of times there would be 2 different game modes, and then there would be random. Now you're just going to be stuck with whatever map it gives you, with whatever game type it gives you. So that can be good or bad depending on who you are, whether you like playing all game types, whether you only like playing Capture the Flag, or you only like playing Search and Destroy, or you only like playing S&D on Breach or something like that. So you won't be able to pick as much anymore. You're going to have to deal with what you get. For game mode changes, a loss will no longer be recorded when joining a free-for-all game in progress. So apparently beforehand, when you would join a game in progress in free-for-all, you would still count as a loss. Even if you joined down 29-0, you lost within 10 seconds. So Safeguard, they adjusted the win timing in Safeguard. So it doesn't say whether that went up or down. So I assume that means that either the game time limit, like the 5 minutes that you get in Safeguard to score the robot, either went down or up, or I would assume that the robot goes faster, so the win timing is faster, so you can win faster. So it's either one of those two, but it's really vague. It just says adjusted win timing in Safeguard. Search and Destroy addressed an issue where inactive players were not being removed from games in S&D. This happened to me quite a bit. Not that I was an inactive player not being removed, but I would have a team of 5 and 2 people would just be inactive, so it would really be 4 on 6 in public S&D. And it was really annoying, especially in Search and Destroy, where you have 2 less people, which means you're going to die that much faster, and your team's going to lose the round that much faster. Uplink, they updated the regulation time limit conditions so that if a score limit is reached in regulation round 1, it also sets the time for regulation round 2. So it sounds like if the team reaches the score limit in 3 minutes, then the round 2 will only last 3 minutes. As well as they changed the overtime rules to where the game ends if the team that set the time to beat in overtimes. An overtime of an uplink game, if I'm on Team 1 and Team 1 scores the drone in 30 seconds, the next round is only 30 seconds long, and Team 2 only has 30 seconds to be able to score. But now what they changed was that if I am on Team 1 and then we score again, the game is over. Team 2 does not get a chance to then come back even further in that second round. The score bonus for getting kills while carrying the drone was reduced. It doesn't say by how much. It just says reduced score bonus for kills while carrying the satellite drone. In the custom games lobby, their official variants have been added to custom game modes for hardcore and TWL rules. TWL, if you don't know, is Call of Duty World League, so now you can play on official Call of Duty World League rules inside of custom games without having to set it up yourself, which is kind of cool, especially if you play game battles games or if you just want to play like the pros do against your friends in custom games. One big change on the general side of things is Players can no longer infinitely vote for the previous map, so you're not going to be playing on Combine for the rest of your life. Any map can only be voted for twice, and then you're going to have to move on to a different map. You can either vote for the new map, or you can vote random, and the map that had already been voted on twice will be grayed out. There's now a new bonus menu in the main menu that includes Free Run, Nightmares, and Dead Ops Arcade 2. Across game modes, they have balanced out the XP earn rate consistency, so every game mode will have the same XP earn rate. For the general gameplay, the big one that a lot of people were talking about was the fixed-in exploit that allowed players to move faster by sliding just before landing from a jump. That's what they quoted in there, and that is aka the G-slide. So you can no longer G-slide, even though you can G-slide with a different button combination. Obviously, they didn't know that when they fixed it, and they figured they had fixed it, but they didn't. Check out my last video if you want to see how to do the G-slide after the patch. They also fixed an issue where moving while crouched or ADS did not properly reduce your audio footprint. So basically what it sounds like to me is when you were crouched or ADS, you're supposed to, since you're moving slower, you're supposed to be quieter on your feet, and you weren't. You were just as loud as if you were sprinting. They've also balanced out crypto key earn rate across all game modes. In hardcore, AI-controlled score streaks will no longer count towards the kick limit. So if your Cerberus that is AI controlled kills your teammate, you're not going to get kicked. And that counts for the Cerberus when it's AI controlled, the Talon when it's AI controlled, the Wraith, the Raps drones, and the GI unit. They also further fixed the exploits where people would sit in lobbies and earn crypto keys for not doing anything. I'm not sure how they fixed that because people were putting rubber bands around their sticks and then they were moving in circles. So I don't know. Maybe if you do like moving in circles now, you're not going to be able to anymore because they're going to think that you're trying to exploit them for crypto keys, so they're just going to kick you out of the game. Also, teammates can no longer damage friendly score streaks in hardcore, so I can't shoot down my teammates' UAVs. I don't know why I would. I can't shoot down my teammates' Cerberuses. You can't troll your teammates, and you can't shoot down their score streaks. The last thing for general gameplay is they adjusted the spawn logic in Team Deathmatch and Kill Confirm to increase the chance of spawning with your teammate. So you're not going to spawn in random places, you're going to spawn by your allies, and you're not going to get, well, hopefully you're not going to get shot up immediately once you spawn because you're going to be near teammates and you're going to be in a group. Within the black market, you are now able to equip taunts, gestures, and specialist themes for specialists that you have unlocked, not for ones that you don't have unlocked apparently. And there have been updated black market special effects or animations and effects. Under combat record, players can now compare stats with their friends, so I can go online and I can open up my combat record, it sounds like, and I can look at my friend's combat record and see how I compare to them. For the specialists, which I sort of went over earlier, Nomad has increased rejack stand-up speed, so that's a pretty big buff for the Nomad because they're going to be able to stand up faster and they're going to be able to pop up and surprise the person who killed them even quicker than before. Reaper has equalized footstep volume to balance it out with all the other specialists. I noticed this a lot in matchmaking that when you're using the Reaper, your footsteps are super loud and they sound mechanical. So like you're way more obvious running by with the Reaper than the other specialists, but now that's fixed, you should have a balanced out footsteps down to the other specialists. For the Spectre, they have reduced leftover specialist power available if player died while activating the Ripper. So if you use the Ripper from the start of the game, you have pretty much whatever you had left when you died. And now I know that they nerfed that in the last update and now they're nerfing it again. So now you're going to have even more decreased Ripper power after you die while using the Ripper. So that is pretty much it. Like I said, I did leave out the things that I deemed as hot fixes. You can check out the full patch notes, which I will link down in the comments below. So what I left out were things that were like small glitches. They were small fixes that would have been put in a hot fix and were just pretty much linked in this update, along with the other big fixes like the gun buffs and nerfs. They were more small things that were only affecting a small amount of people and not really the general public. So thank you all for watching. Please leave a like down below. Please comment down below what you think of this update. What I would like to hear most was what you think about the shotgun buffs. They buffed the shotguns again. I want to hear what you think about that. Do you think the Argus and KRM needed a buff? Do you think they needed a nerf? Did you think they were fine where they were? Tell me down in the comments below and tell me everything else you think about this patch and also what you think about the new DLC if you downloaded it. Also remember to drop a nuke on the subscribe button for more content uploaded daily. Thanks again for watching. I've been Eavesdrop, and I'm out.
No gunshots, but they getting low, low.